The Iowa Hawkeyes are bowling for the second year in a row. And now, in 1987, it's back to San Diego for a repeat appearance in the Holiday Bowl, this time to corral the Cowboys from Wyoming. And now, Hawkeye Pregame 87, the final roundup. Here's TV9 Sports Director John Campbell.
This is the spot. This is where last year's Holiday Bowl came to such a dramatic finish. It was here at the 31-yard line that Chuck Hartlieb knelt down with 4 seconds left and took that high snap.
And here we are, high pass. The kick is away, and it is good.
Rob Houtland's 41-yard field goal capped a frantic fourth-quarter Hawkeye comeback against the Aztecs of San Diego State. Mark Vlasic pitched to Marv Cook for a 29-yard touchdown. Later, it was a pickle pass to Mike Flagg for a 36-35 Iowa lead. But with 47 seconds left, San Diego kicker Kevin Rahill drilled a 21-yarder to put the Aztecs on top. Then a big play by Kevin Harmon on the kickoff return. He brought it back to the Aztec 37-yard line. And 4 plays later, Rob Houtland made it a Hawkeye holiday to remember.
And this one isn't over yet. Woo!
I dedicated this game to my grandfather who died on the 22nd. It's the greatest feeling in the world. I mean, I can't explain it. It's the best.
So you're glad you had that chance to go in and win that game?
I'm really glad. If I didn't have it, I don't know what I would have done.
But minutes later, the thrill of victory was engulfed by Hayden Fry's admission that he was looking.
Trying to relax.
I've never brought up a job before until this USC job came along. I've never made a move without asking my coaching staff what they wanted to do. My coaching staff voted to look into the USC job.
Well, it never got much farther than that. Fry never had an official interview at USC, and some thought that he was more interested in them than they were in him. As it turned out, Arizona's Larry Smith ended up getting the USC football job. So Hayden Fry is back, and so are his Hawkeyes. Back here in San Diego, back for a second straight appearance in the Holiday Bowl. It's not all work and no play for the players out here. Witness the trip to the USS Constellation. Both the Hawkeyes and Cowboys were honored at a pizza party on board ship. Some 900 people were served, and who better to offer a critique than the Italian taste tester and punt returner Peter Marciano. How's this Navy pizza, Peter?
It's all right.
What do you mean, all right?
I mean, much better. I mean, it'll do for the day, but nothing like home. Nothing like Papa Gino's.
You guys having a good time out here?
Yeah, we're having a good time. Me and Chuck are just hanging out, relaxing, having a good time. Getting ready for the big game, though. That's what we came here for.
You're not going to let him eat too much pizza, are you?
No, Herbie's taking his, so it don't make a difference.
Who ate the most here?
He ate the most. He ate about 10 pizzas.
He did.
Big Evan Simpson, the refrigerator, the oven.
The oven?
Yeah, he ate most of all of them.
We got some ice cream for you here, Mark.
It's too cold to eat ice cream. They'll do it, make it worse.
So you can see lots of fun for the players out here during their stay, not only in the organized situations, but also during their free time. The only question, how well can they mix football and fun?
We're going to be prepared. Come kickoff, we'll be ready to win. But I don't like to restrict them and say, you can't do this, you can't do that. I have very few rules, you know, like don't get in trouble. You know, if you get in trouble, I'll put you on a bus and send you back, or it's a long way to hitchhike. Don't gain too much weight. Have fun. Those are about the 3 big rules that I give them on a bowl trip.
Thousands of Iowa fans are here in San Diego, those who have followed the team west and those Iowans who now live in Southern California. But when you talk about faithful fans, the ones who sat through the good and the bad, the rain and the cold, you got to talk about OREN ALT of Iowa City. Mark Viviano has his story.
Iowa met Wyoming on the football field once before. The two teams clashed at Iowa Stadium in Iowa City back in 1953. On that fall day in '53, just as he does today,
OREN ALT came to cheer for Iowa. And ALT goes further back than 53. The 87-year-old Iowa City native has attended every Hawkeye home game since 1925.
It started in the early 20s, but the first game in 25, I had to help a neighbor fill silo, and I haven't missed a home game since.
Every Iowa home game since 1925. That's more than 300 football games. OREN says he had one close call. He almost missed the Indiana game back in, 1937.
A neighbor had passed away, and I was singing in a quartet, so we had to sing at the funeral, so we missed the first quarter. Other than that, why, I've been here ever since.
A stadium seat on the 27-yard line serves as ALT's second home in the fall. In 63 years there, he's seen the stadium change, and the game has changed. But the fans, they haven't changed.
How about the type of people that come to the games? Are we seeing the same people? How is it?
I think so. Yeah, they all came for have a good time, to have fun. I think perhaps there's more drinking now than there used to be.
OREN ALT is one of those fans who prefers not to change. He's a living piece of Hawkeye history, and he hasn't missed a game since 1925. I'm Mark Viviano for Hawkeye Pregame 87.
OREN is not here in San Diego, at least in person he isn't, but you know his heart is with the Hawkeyes. And when we return to San Diego, we'll take a look back at Iowa's two-part season. Normally, we would refer to this bowl game as the Hawkeyes' second season, but this year it's an encore. They've already gone through two seasons. Part one started in August at the Kickoff Classic. Part two after that embarrassing loss to Michigan. It was a season that literally started with a dog and ended with the hog. It was the dog days of August when Iowa took the field against Tennessee for the Kickoff Classic in the Meadowlands. True to his word, Hayden Fry played all three quarterbacks, but this would not be a Tennessee waltz. Disaster struck Chuck Hartlieb on his second play from scrimmage. The lateral is intercepted, and it goes 99 yards the other way. Hartlieb and Kevin Harmon and the Hawkeyes came back to regain the lead in this ball game. But then, volunteer walk-on kicker Phil Rich kicked a 21-yard field goal with 3 seconds left for a 23-22 Tennessee win. Iowa got involved in another one-pointer at Arizona. It was here that the quarterback picture began to take focus. Chuck Hartlieb led them to the go-ahead touchdown in the fourth quarter. A nice sleight of hand to Richard Bass. Then Iowa controlled the ball for the final 5 minutes to ensure a 15-14 win.
That was one of the greatest displays of character on the part of the Hawkeye football team that I've ever seen.
Chuck Hartlieb drew the starting assignment against Iowa State and hit 15 of 18. Kevin Harmon hacked out a career-high 182 yards rushing and 3 touchdowns as the Hawkeyes quenched the Clones 48-9. Iowa's 3 quarterbacks combined for 6 interceptions against Kansas State, but it didn't matter. The Hawkeyes cruised past the Wildcats 38-13. Iowa then opened the Big Ten season against eventual conference champion Michigan State. Dan McGuire to Quinn early for an Iowa 14-7 halftime lead. But the Michigan State defense shut down the Hawkeyes in the second half. And this McAllister to Sargent TD pass gave them a 19-14 win.
I think this is the most frustrating loss I've ever had since I've been here. I think that goes for a lot of the guys on defense, you know.
Spuds McKenzie was in Madison for the Iowa-Wisconsin game. So were 4 Hartliebs, Mom and Dad, Chuck, and Andy, a Wisconsin linebacker. It was Chuck to Marv Cook for a 51-yarder to get this party off to a rousing start. Mom and Dad then had a tough watch as son Chuck outran son Andy to the end zone. Iowa won it 31-10. But Michigan put the hurt on the Hawks in Ann Arbor the next weekend. Demetrius Brown was on target all day, including this Hail Mary right before halftime. The Wolverines went on to a 37-10 victory. Iowa was 1-2 in the conference, 4-3 overall. Time for a second season.
It came down to the fact that we were a much better ball club than what we'd shown, and we decided to dedicate the rest of the season to winning.
And that they did. Quinn Early hauled in 11 passes against Purdue, and Craig Clark coasted 46 yards to the end zone with this one. Iowa boiled Purdue 38-14. The high-flying Hoosiers were the next to fall, but it wasn't easy. IU went ahead 21-20 in the second half on this pass to Ernie Jones. But David Hudson kept an 86-yard drive with the dive. Then the biggest non-touchdown play of the year. Third down, Hartlieb to Cook to keep the drive alive, the clock ticking, and eventually sent the Toes a-tapping.
Today's the first day they did the hokey pokey in the dressing room. That's when I know that they're really happy.
7 days later, Chuck Hartlieb threw 7 TD passes against Northwestern. 4 of them went to Quinn Early, including this one that covered 95 yards. You'll read about that day in the record books. But the reception of the year, maybe the decade, took place in Columbus, Ohio, where the Hawkeyes hadn't won since 1959. Kevin Harmon ripped off the longest Hawkeye run of the year. This 50-yarder gave Iowa a 14-9 lead. Buckeye freshman Carlos Snow chilled the Hawkeyes late in the fourth quarter. Ohio State led at 27-22. Now, 4th and 23 at the 28, no timeouts left, and it's Hartlieb to Cook in what has become simply known as the play.
All right, Hartlieb goes back. He's got one pass left. It's down the sideline. It's complete to Marvin Cook at the 5. It's touchdown! He got it! He got it! Cook for the touchdown!
And I could just see Chuck aiming that thing. He just reared back and zeroed in, and then Mark made a fantastic run.
The only thing I think about, I hate losing, so, winning is, the only thing in my mind. And Chuck threw a good ball. I made it, I came back, beat the DB, and got it in. You've seen it just as much as I did.
Oh, what a great feeling. I think I'll just go ahead and retire right now.
The Hawkeyes closed out the second season at home with a convincing 34-20 win over the Minnesota Gophers. And a team that had been 4-3 was all of a sudden 9-3 and feeling like the tallest hogs at the trough. Haven't seen Hayden's hog out here. Maybe he's at the beaches. Maybe he's down at Tijuana. Who knows? We do know this. Iowa can tie a school record of 10 wins in a season if they can corral the Cowboys. And when we return, a look at Wyoming. The Wyoming Cowboys galloped into San Diego. Paul Roach has put the Pokes back in the saddle in just his first year as head coach. They've won 9 in a row. And as Mark Viviano shows us, they're primed for a shootout.
Every Cowboy has a horse and a gun. For Wyoming, Gerald Abraham is the horse. He rushed for more than 1,200 yards this season. And Craig Burnett is the gun. He tossed 22 touchdowns in '87 and led Wyoming's offense to a number 5 national ranking. Actually, the Cowboy gunner looks a lot like Iowa's quarterback weapon.
Even their quarterback, Burnett, is very similar to Hartlieb. Excellent passer, very intelligent, reads the coverages and the stunts and the blitzes very well. Got a very accurate arm. And he and Chuck Hartlieb are very, very comparable.
Burnett likes to unload his bombs to all-conference receiver Anthony Sargent. The speedy Sargent caught 11 TD passes and rolled up more than 800 receiving yards. And the Sarge is ready for Iowa.
It's going to be tough, but we got a high-powered offense, and we're just going to take it to them.
Like the Hawkeyes, the Cowboys have a corral of strong tight ends, led by all-conference Bill Hoffman. Overall, Iowa and Wyoming are quite comparable.
The closest team that I could compare Wyoming to would be the University of Iowa. Very, very similar formation-wise, personnel, same style of attack. Probably the biggest difference I've seen the two teams right now is they have a superior punting game.
It's a great compliment, but and it will play a big part in the game, I think. Field position will be a big part, so hopefully we can execute this week.
The two clubs are similar, it seems, But when it comes to size, Iowa wins big.
Well, I think maybe they're a little more physical. They're a little bigger than we are. Of course, that's kind of been the story throughout the season, so that doesn't necessarily intimidate us or anything. We've had to rely, like up front defensively, with our ability to run and quickness and compensate in that manner.
After all the comparisons are complete, Iowa does come out as the favorite over Wyoming. But the Cowboys just don't seem to mind.
I like it. I like being underdog. Takes a little bit of pressure off you. I think, you know, you're not expected to win, so you can just go out there and do your best.
Well, Mark Vlasic was Iowa's starting quarterback in last year's Holiday Bowl. Chuck Hartlieb had to be content with special teams play. He held for extra points, he threw for one, and he had that hold on the winning field goal. Back then, few would have envisioned Chuck Hartlieb as Iowa's starting quarterback for this Holiday Bowl.
Obviously, Hartlieb is a Cinderella story.
You've gotta have heart. All you really need is heart.
Well, Chuck has plenty of that. Let's face it, he looked to be third string when the great quarterback sweepstakes opened in August, and he didn't help things on his first series of the season. His lateral picked off by Tennessee's Darren Miller.
It's crazy, really, when you think about it, because, you know, that's practically rock bottom on the very first series, but in a way it helped me because I knew I was on the bottom and all I could do was go up.
And up he went. 1 week later, Chuck made a case for himself, leading Iowa to a come-from-behind win at Arizona, a win that included a ball control offense at the end.
That was definitely a nail in the coffin for me, because once I did that, you know, in that fourth quarter and had some success, I really knew I could win for this team, and I really felt good with my teammates.
Seemed like he brought a spark to the team, you know, once he started hitting every pass, and it just brought a new life to the team. And
he certainly is a leader. He's not, you know, not only on the field now, you know, being the great quarterback that he is, but he's always been off the field.
He's meant a lot. He's been playing outstanding, and good thing we have had a quarterback like that come through.
His ability just to get the job done, you know. No matter how he does it, he just gets it done, you know, whatever it takes. And great improviser, you know, scrambles, finds a receiver, and it just, I can't say enough for him and the things he's done for our offense.
He's never out there drawing plays on the ground or anything.
I tell you what, sometimes it seems like it. He probably could do that and make it go.
I'm going to have doubts in earlier years, but going into the season, I felt very confident, and I felt that as the season went on, especially early on, my confidence grew. So when I did get my chance, you know, I was all set.
Hartlieb rewrote the record books at Northwestern with 7 touchdown passes. But you get a sense of what he's all about when you ask him about his highlight of the '87 season. It wasn't personal glory, it was team glory.
Oh, definitely the Ohio State play. Easy question. I'll never forget that one. I have a tremendous respect for him. I've had that for him since day one, and I always will. And he's a great motivator and a great coach, and I appreciate greatly being able to play for him.
All you really need is heart. When the odds are saying you'll never win, that's when the grin should start. You've gotta have heart.
Ironically, Chuck Hartlieb will once again hold for field goals and extra points in this game. There had been talk during the season of having someone else take over those duties, but Rob Houtland wouldn't have any of that. We'll return here to San Diego with some final thoughts in just a moment. Well, we're less than 24 hours from game time now. No more practices, no more press conferences. The coaches and players can only wait. The Cowboys are convinced they can cap off a Cinderella season with a 10th straight win. The Iowa Hawkeyes are out to prove that when it's time to get down to business, they can do it with the best of them.
Well, I think anybody from the Midwest knows that we have the capability to come back in the fourth quarter. I mean, look at the Ohio State game and the Indiana game. We definitely feel that we can do the exact same thing. So that has no effect on us whatsoever, except to make us more aware of their capabilities.
Do you guys feel like underdogs at all because they're from the Big Ten, they've been here before, et cetera, et cetera?
I don't think personally anybody on our team feels like the underdog. We've been underdogs all year, and we've met each challenge that was presented for us. But I see no different for Iowa.
Once we line up and get in a locker room and game day, you know, we're going to have our motors going, we're going to be ready to play. We don't want to make it as close as last year.
You look for a high-scoring game?
I say high 20s.
Okay.
That's what I predict.
Just starting this one game, Holiday Bowl game, the last game of the year, senior year, just to make up for 5 years of frustration.
One final thought. The Iowa Hawkeyes have never won 2 bowl games in a row under Coach Hayden Fry. I'd be willing to bet that's going to change tomorrow night. Thanks for joining us, and so long from San Diego.